Hello, fellow Crusaders, and welcome to our special Halloween episode. My name's Sean Waskrug. With me, as always, is Brian Michaels. We've been gone a while, guys. We know it's been over a month. We are back. Like I said on our socials, I got a new job. It's been hard to find availability for Brian and I both to be together to shoot. But one thing we weren't going to miss out on is our annual Halloween episode, where last year we did the Decades of Halloween, which started our whole brand new series of Decades of. Year before that, we did, I think, the 30 Days of Halloween, picking each day for a movie, which I still think that was one of my favorite episodes we shot. I love that episode so much.
Well, we always love when you get to push your opinions on other people. So.
Oh, absolutely. That's the whole reason why we do this.
That's what we're here for.
Exactly. But this year we were like, what the hell do we want to do? Because we couldn't really think of anything. And we even asked my girlfriend Kimberly, because she came up with the Decades of option, and she really didn't have much either. And so we're like, well, fuck. What are we going to do here? Brian actually came up with an idea. And at first we were kind of like, yeah, we'll put that one on the back burner until we come up with something else. But then we both just kind of actually like sat down and actually game planned it. And now I'm actually excited to talk about this. Don't know how we're going to name it. I'm sure by the time we release this, we'll have an actual title for it. But basically, generally what we're about to do is we're about to go over 25. God, it feels like there's not that many franchises. 25 horror franchises. And basically what Brian and I are going to try to do cohesively is come up with 3 different options for each franchise. Either kill the franchise, meaning it's overstayed its welcome. I don't want to see another movie. I don't want to see it anymore. Kill it, be done with it, move on. Rebrand it, or reanimate it, which is basically kind of like what they've been doing with a lot of these, the remakes or the requels, stuff like that, where it's like, I think these franchises have the ability to grow and become relevant again, but they need to change something or do something different.
Whether it's a clean reboot or whether it's, just kind of changing direction, or in some cases in Reanimate, it might be bringing back one that's been dead for a while.
Exactly. And then the final option is let it live, meaning that this franchise still has legs. Everything they're doing is working. Please continue to keep doing what you're doing and don't change a thing. So we are going to go over all 25 of these franchises. Some of them might just be a quick little snippet because there's a lot of movies we're going to be discussing here, or a lot of franchises. We don't have time to go over every single one of these movies or anything like that. So there's going to be some franchises that be like, you only talked about it for 30 seconds. A, we're probably not fans of it. B, we probably don't remember them because we aren't fans of it. So we're just going to get through them. And there's others that are going to spend a lot more time on. Obviously, the big names we're going to be talking about, probably a little more extensively. But that is going to be what the general consensus is. Brian's going to have his opinion. I'm going to have mine. We're going to try to come together with an actual agreement. But if we can't, then we'll split the option and say, this is what I thought and this is what he thought. And we're going to go from there. Anything you'd like to add before we start?
Who are you? I have no idea who. I haven't seen you before.
I know. I look like your old co-host, Sean, but, I'm a little bit different. Oh, man. I should have shaved the beard and just had the mustache. Could have been evil Sean.
And had you gotta have a goatee. You gotta have a goatee to be evil.
Yeah, do the goatee. And maybe I would have wore an Eagles hat. No, I fucking had to kill myself if I wore an Eagles hat.
Well, or in your case, maybe that would be the good Sean because you're already evil to start with. No, as far as this goes, I mean, your intro kind of covered it all. We're like I said, we're not pretending to be horror franchise experts. We don't know the ins and outs of a lot of these franchises. But these are just our opinions. That's all this channel has ever been. It's like us discussing our opinions, and so we're gonna think what we should do for these franchises.
We watch a lot of horror. The problem is that there's some that have not had a movie in 10 plus years. Yeah. And while we have maybe
some we haven't watched in 10 plus years.
Some of them even 20, 30 years. But they're enough for us to go, hey, what about this? And we're not going to be talking about your one-off movies. I think everything here has had a minimum of 2 movies to 7 plus movies.
I almost suggested adding in what's some one-off movies that we wish would become a franchise, but maybe that's the video for another time.
Yeah, that might be something that maybe we can come up with next year because that's a way longer. That's a whole other spectrum. We'd be talking about probably 200 movies. It would be a marathon. If anything, maybe we would do a live show for that. But let's go ahead and get this underway. Actually, you know what, Brian? I'm gonna let you pick the first franchise. What do you want to start the ball rolling on for this show?
You know what? Let's. I think we know what kind of some of the big hitters are, so we'll spread those out. So let's go ahead and talk about one of them right now. We'll kick off with one of them. Let's kick off with Friday the 13th.
Okay,
Friday the 13th. One of the most extensive franchises. I mean, they've had 10 Jason Friday the 13th movies, we're going to call them, plus Freddy versus Jason. Varying degrees.
Is it 10 with the remake?
Oh, with the remake, no, but the remake is 11. Yeah.
Okay, so it's 11. Yeah.
Yeah, because Jason X was the last one. Jason,
yeah.
10.
So 12,
Freddy versus Jason
12 Friday the 13th total then.
Yeah. So I mean, it's had a good run. We have not had a new movie since Jason and
no, since the remake.
The remake. I meant to say. Friday the 13th, the remake is 2009. So we are now 16 years without a Friday the 13th movie.
Feel right.
Yeah, well, I know there was all kinds of problems with the rights to it, and then there was like a lot of scripts that came up, and they couldn't find a story they liked, and they didn't know what they wanted to do with it. I know they just, I think there's a Crystal Lake TV series coming on, which, I mean, I might be interested in checking it out, but it's still not the same as continuing the franchise.
It's almost like mini side quest here. Welcome to Derry starts this week. Mm-hmm. I'm intrigued by it because it's it, and I love it. But I also am like, don't we already know what happens? Like,
yeah, it feels like it's just like, oh, here's it, but in the 60s or 50s.
Yeah, 60s, 50s. Like, I'm pretty sure we already know what happens because they already went over that in it. Yeah. And then it's like, is this going to be 5 seasons, or is it going to be like season 1 is this time, and then season 2 is going to go back 27 years before that? Which I'm okay with actually that option. But then we also know that Pennywise wins every season, because he never got stopped in any of the other options. It was only in the 80s and
or for all we know, he actually did end up getting stopped and just came back because it seems like you can't really
except for the actual main story. He only gave a shit about the kids in this one. Like, why didn't he fuck with the kids who stopped him in the 60s? And no, he just stuck.
We're on the wrong franchise.
Yeah, I know, but I was saying, like, the whole Crystal Lake thing, I don't know how they'd make that work. Like, at least with like I said, with Derry, it affected the whole town. Like, Pennywise affected the whole town, so you can delve deeper into that. Crystal Lake it's not like Crystal Lake is bad because of Jason. So I don't know how the show would work, but
I'm curious to see what that does. But as far as the franchise goes, I mean, when I was younger, especially, I enjoyed watching them just because, let's look at the cool, creative, gory kills. And the stories and the acting in these movies were pretty much not good across the board. No. I can't think of one where I was like, that was the one where they really showed off the great storytelling. My favorite by far is the 2009 reboot. I wish they continued from there. The old ones, actually, I'll go back and watch them. Yeah, they're pretty bad. As far as what they should do with it now, my vote would be to reanimate it. Because, I mean, it is one of the classic franchises. I think that the fact that we've gone this long without a new one, especially when your last one was your best one, it just tells me that they should continue making more. Now, they could update it to more modern times, because you don't want it to be just the exact same thing of just him at camp killing people.
So are you saying that you want
to change it up?
Are you saying that you want it to be more present day then? Like young Jason present day? Like with that, or you still want it to be like 80s? And
no, I still want it to be adult size Jason killing people. I don't want to go back to. I don't want them to reboot it.
So you don't want his mom to be the killer in the first movie?
No, I don't want to start the whole thing over again. I mean, I want 2009 one was kind of the perfect opportunity for me because it wasn't telling the whole origin story again, but it wasn't necessarily everything else wasn't canon. It wasn't the exact same Jason. That's why I wish they'd continued on from that. I mean, they still could, honestly. It could just be, 16 years later, he pops up and, things are happening again. I don't think they will continue from that one. If they do start it, they will start fresh again. But it is one that I think deserves to continue on. It's like, it's never going to be the highest quality films, but as far as just slasher fun, it's one of the classic franchises.
I pretty much agree with you 100%. I too also think that the 2009 is the best Friday the 13th movie that we got. Now, I'm a huge fan of Freddy versus Jason, so that's just a special movie in my heart. But that one isn't canon technically when it comes to the franchise. But I think like I agree with you. Like if I was going to reanimate it, it would be exactly how 2009's went, where it's like you see it started with like the end of the first Friday the 13th with his mom, you know, getting killed and stuff like that. And then we just kind of just jumped ahead. So that way we were just like, hey, look, we know
just
his
enough
mom.
to give people context without rehashing
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, so I agree. I would want to do it just like that, but once again, then you're just remaking 2009 all over again. And even though it ended cliffhangery, so did the first Friday the 13th, and they didn't continue that, you know, the girl from the first movie into the sequel. They just jumped ahead, and Jason was older again. So I definitely want to reanimate it because you can't just not do Jason anymore. You know, and we're probably going to be talking about that again when we go to the other franchise that's been, you know, 15 years since the last one. But yeah, I mean, I would be cool with either them just completely starting over from scratch. Maybe, like you said, doing a modern version of it. Like, we don't have to have, like, be clever with the writing, especially with the directors we've got now. With, you know, Wan and Flanagan and, oh God, there's so many different directors current. I know we're not fans of Perkins, but or even the guys from Talk to Me, or even the Smile. Well, no, I'm saying like even the Smile directors. Like we have a really good crop of directors now. I would love to see one of them take on Jason and do it in a way that is an homage but different. Now, whether that is just completely starting over like 2009 did and just doing it again, which once again, we're 16 years separated, so it wouldn't be awful if they redid the whole thing again. I would be like you. I'd be okay with them just being a continuation of that and having it be a sequel. I'd be fine with that and just saying, hey, 2009 was stepping stone. This is in the same realm because that Jason was perfect. That Jason was a perfect Jason. He was fast. He was smart. He had the tunnels. I loved everything they did about that Jason. So if they kept it like that, then I'd be all for it. So we both were in agreement. Reanimate Friday the 13th, not in the show, but actual movie. Get the franchise back up and running. And with this current crop of directors, I feel like they can get a good story and some good acting out of these to make these feel meatier through it they go out. So let's move on to the next one. Okay, I'll go ahead with this. Chucky, Child's Play. We've already now this one has had a rebrand or has had a reinvention or reanimation with the with current day tech. You know, Mark Hamill was Chucky, and a lot of people hated it. I actually liked the new version. I'm not saying it's better than old school Chucky, but it was different and it worked with modern technology and it actually made sense for what it did. But then that also was like, hey, we don't want that Chucky. I want my old Chucky. And then it had a TV series, which I didn't think was going to work, but somehow it did work for like 2-3 seasons. Granted, I only watched the first season of it. I intended to watch the last couple, and I didn't. But Chucky was always kind of this fun, unique, thing because it's like it's a doll. If a doll coming at you with a knife, you just fucking field goal kick it and fucking run away. It's like it's Chucky. For me though, I feel like because of we already had a reanimated version of it, which I thought was solid, and I don't think they're gonna go back to it. But I think because of the TV series, I'm cool with killing Chucky. I think that they kind of ended everything out on a high note, and I feel like if they bring it back now, which granted the TV show is maybe a year or two removed, I think, since it ended. So maybe 10 years down the road, maybe we could come off, but technology and everything nowadays, like I feel like if the whole
it just turned into an AI thing.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. It's like, are you gonna do Chucky AI? Because the whole like doll thing, I feel like by today's standards is not going to work well. So you either have to have it nostalgia where it's like in the 90s, or I just don't think Chucky can work for modern day past what we saw with the most recent animation.
I would not want to see a new Chucky series start, really. I think that I was intrigued and amused by the idea when it was being pitched of Chucky versus Megan. Because I think that
you know what? I would be okay with that.
So that's the kind of thing that if they wanted to make something like that, like a one-off thing, but I don't need to see a whole new Chucky series of films.
No.
Because for me, I mean, the first few were, because I haven't seen a lot of these in a long time. I'll say that right up front. But the first couple were fine. They're amusing. You know, they had some good kills, whatever. But I think it really found its stride when it got into like Bride of Chucky, Seed of Chucky, which I'm not claiming they're great films, but I think that tone they found where it was a lot more humorous, and it was kind of embracing the cheesiness of the whole, you know, killer doll idea. Mm-hmm. And I think that found its tone, and I think that those were successful because of that. Now, when they rebooted it, they tried to, you know, reboot it, and I don't even remember if it made any money or not, but it obviously didn't create a new franchise. I did not watch the series. You did, which you told me was very good. But
well, I agree. Chucky himself was good, obviously, because this, you know, it's Brad Dourif, he's great. The child actors around him weren't. They sucked. They were really bad acting. But by the end of the series, I mean, they had brought everyone back. Jennifer Tilly was back, and literally it was like anyone, the actor who played Andy was back. Like, they had brought everyone full circle. Plus Devon Sawa. Devon Sawa played multiple roles on that show.
Wasn't Brad Dourif's daughter in it or something like that too?
Who?
Wasn't Brad Dourif's daughter? Yeah.
Well, yeah, because she was in the last couple movies.
Oh, I don't remember these things. So.
Yeah, and I think she was actually the actual daughter of Charles Lee Ray.
Oh, okay.
As well, so that's why Chucky was like so like onto her, because there was an actual. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure about the TV series was like, oh yeah, they actually are, like, there's a connection there. But yeah, so you're in agreement. Kill.
So, except for maybe a one-off versus the thing.
Yeah, if you're gonna do a Megan versus Chucky, then okay. Other than that, kill the franchise. Let's go ahead with the next one.
I'm gonna go with one that's, I think it'd be a very short conversation. The Exorcist franchise. Just say right now, kill the fucking thing. You know why? Because none of them have been that good, folks. The first one of the most overrated films of all time. It's one of those things like, ooh, well, back in the day, you know, if you saw it back then, you would have thought it was scary. Great, but I'm not seeing it back then, and people now aren't seeing it back then. They're seeing it compared to movies now, which are actually scary. A couple of the earlier sequels I either haven't seen in forever or never saw. They recently, you know, tried to reboot it with the one that had Leslie Odom Jr. in it, and that one,
it was awful.
Really kind of, yeah. I mean,
well, they're making it. They're doing it again with Flanagan.
Yeah. So, I mean, I like Flanagan. I guess I didn't know he was involved with it, but that's one that I would like to see, you know, kill it, just because. But first of all, exorcism movies in general, there's way too many exorcism movies. Like when they started coming out with, I started mixing them all up. There was like Exorcism, Emily Rose, the last Exorcism, you know, and I was just like, I don't even know what's what anymore. That's why I didn't watch the Emily Rose one, which you always told me was so good, but I never watched it because in my mind it was just another one in that glut of exorcism movies that came out.
And it's the best one.
Yeah, I mean, if you ask me, exorcism movies I like, The Pope's Exorcist, that's a fun fucking movie. Just because
I would say
Crowe's having a blast.
I would say make that a franchise, and Russell Crowe even wants to do that. But I feel like that.
Otherwise, I just find exorcism movies so bland, so boring. I have not been impressed by any of them, so I say kill it.
I think the Exorcist series as a whole, well, I want to see what Flanagan does. If Flanagan can knock this out of the park, then I'm more open to letting it continue if Flanagan is at the helm. If the Flanagan one fails, then kill it. Exorcism movies as a whole, they've died down. They're not as overtly played out as they used to be. But like, I still love, like I said, the Exorcism of Emily Rose. I still think that there are some good movies. Even The Conjuring is a little. We'll be talking about The Conjuring a little bit. They're a little exorcism-y a little bit to a certain point. I think there are good potential movies where you can have exorcism or exorcist type stuff, but it just can't be The Exorcist. I think once you put that title on it, and you lose all credibility because everyone's expecting it to be The Exorcist. Now, when you do like X and Emily Rose or The Last Exorcism or whatever 80 other titles there's been, at least that takes kind of the pressure off. And then you can try to do some new, unique ways. So for me, I want to see what Flanagan does. If he knocks it out of the park, I'm cool with if he continues to do it, to do another one or a trilogy, however the hell he wants to do it. If it doesn't work, kill the franchise. Don't kill the concept, but be better about the concept. And post-Exorcist, yeah, if Russell Crowe wants to do it, fucking let him do it. Why are we keeping Russell Crowe from just being this guy who just goes around and even then change the concept of it, like Smile, which I actually didn't even put Smile on this list, which it's gonna be a franchise to a point now. The end of Smile 2, spoiler, I know you never, oh no, you finally did see it. Was at the very end, it was infecting like thousands of people in a stadium. Now, if you were trying to do an exorcism movie, do it at a mass level where it's infecting, like do an exorcist movie where a demon like infects thousands and there's 1,000 demons in the world like that. Like Supernatural kind of does that, but that's a TV show. Do it in a movie level. If you're gonna do it big. Don't stop doing like the little kid and here comes the the priest with his secondary person. Like change it up. Come up with something different, because it's just the same shit all the time. So if you're unique about it, I'm open. But the Exorcism franchise as a whole, without Flanagan, kill it.
Yeah, I'm not saying don't make exorcism movies. I think the Exorcist franchise, as it is, though, I would right now say kill it. Now, if Mike Millions actually does end up getting made and coming out, and it impresses me, I can revisit it then. But for now, my vote would be to kill it.
All right, I'm gonna knock these two out because they are always together. Like, there's no way they could be separated. So let's just knock them out because I feel like it's gonna be also a quick conversation. Alien and Predator. Keep it going. They finally figured out the fucking formula for Predator. Alien Earth maybe didn't end exactly the way Brian and I wanted it to end, but they are steps in the right direction. Predator we don't know what Badlands is going to be like, but Predator over the last, 2 outings has figured out what it's doing and it's working. Alien, we'll see if they do another movie. We didn't hate Romulus. Romulus was fine. It was an improvement over what we got. So I say let it ride. Let it live is the term we're using for both Predator and Alien. I think they finally have kind of got through the stink and have finally kind of found a path. So I'd say let them both live. I think eventually we can maybe bring them back together, but we need to get these both locked in and established on their own again before we try to cross them back together again.
Yeah, I even in their worst times, I would always have voted to keep Alien and Predator going, because I've enjoyed them all to different extents. Now, some are obviously weaker than others, but even the ones that people really hate, not Alien versus Predator, those suck. But the Alien movies and the Predator movies, I've liked them all to different extents. Whereas a couple of years ago, I would have been saying that just hoping they make something good. Things have changed so much just in the past year or two, because now
thank you, Dan Trachtenberg.
Like you said, everything kind of found its footing, found its path, found the new direction to take things. And I really like where they're going. I like where Alien Earth was going. Like you said, I didn't really care for the ending, but we'll see where the story continues from there. But I would like to see them make feature films again. As far as Predator, obviously, we really liked Prey. Predator Badlands looks great. And Killer of Killers was one of the best things I've seen this year. I honestly feel like almost if they're going to go Aliens versus Predator again, maybe do it in the animated universe. Because I
would be okay with that. I'd be okay with that just so we can get that. So, like, if it does fail, it's like, okay, guys, it's
Well,
animated.
and because
like,
the thing is, when we finally got Aliens vs. Predators, like this is kind of a watered down version of what everybody really wanted to see. But
yeah,
one of the great things about Killer of Killers was they could do these epic action scenes that would have cost way too much for them to be making in live action film. But in animated medium, they can do so much with the action, whether it's scale or just the style of it. And I'd really like to see how that works. But yeah, let them both win.
All right. What's your next one?
Let's go with Saw.
I had a feeling that's where you were going to go next.
I really am just picking a random one off my list here. Saw is a franchise that is dead currently, ? They made Saw 10. There were plans for a Saw 11. Suddenly it just got completely pulled off the schedule and canceled. And the filmmaker said, yeah, we're not doing it. It's not a matter of delay. It's canceled. We're not doing it. Now, in the past, they have tried. They did a bunch of Saws. Then they tried to do Jigsaw. They want to take a different spin on it. Then they did that Spiral for the book of Saw because Chris Rock is like, oh, I want to take the franchise in a new direction, but it really was just Saw again, but it wasn't all great. Early on, I was able to enjoy some of them just for the creative kills. But the plots were so fucking convoluted, and especially when she had different films and the timeline of it all, it was just like it's just such a fucking mess. So the story and just the writing of it wasn't that good to start with. So this is one of those franchises you really only watch for the cool kills. And there's other horror movies that are able to do their own cool kills. So I see no place for Saw anymore. It's like I feel like it's run its course. I currently would say kill it.
I have never really been a big fan of torture porn. I've never been a fan of it. I've never was a fan of like Hostel or anything like that. Saw intrigued me because I was intrigued by the story of John Kramer. I was intrigued by Jigsaw himself. Yes, the kill rooms and torture devices were unique, but it was the story about how did John Kramer go from normal guy to Jigsaw. That was the story that I was interested in. That's the story I cared about. I felt like every time we did go to the actual torture sequences, I was tuning out because I was like, I don't care about this stuff. This is just bad acting, and you're just waiting for it to eventually like speed it up. Either they die or they mangle themselves. Let's just get through this. Let's get back to the actual story. But even that took its toll. By the fourth or fifth movie, I was just numb to it. And there are better versions of this out there that's torture porn, aka Terrifier, where yes, it's not like a torture device, but like you're getting that kind of like, Jesus Christ, what are we doing here? But at least it's more like fun. Saw's never fun. If you're watching a Saw movie and you're just like, this is great, like there's something fucking wrong with you. Like we all love to watch the masochist stuff like that, but at least with that, it's like Art the Clown's like doing like okay, it's like no, it's like it's not like Jigsaw's looking through the window going, this is some good shit. It's just like no, you're just watching this person cut open their stomach and pull out their intestines to find a key.
And that was always part of my problem with the series. It's just like it tried to take itself so seriously. Like it wanted to be like, especially the first movie. I remember watching that thinking, this movie's trying so hard to be Seven. It's like, oh, this guy is like putting these people in these devices, he's torturing them and stuff because he's trying to teach them a moral lesson. It's like, fuck you.
And that was the thing too.
So seriously.
I was never a huge fan of the first Saw. Everyone was losing their minds, and I'm like, It's like, okay, the twist was interesting. I was more open to Saw 2, where it was like a fun house of like just crazy shit. And like you go in the one room, it's like, oh crap, what's it gonna be? And then his next room. You know what's also did that I think did better? Escape Room. And that's not even that great. But at least that was like, oh, it's a corporation. And they actually like branched out on that in the sequel, and I don't think they're gonna continue it, but at least that was like, okay, at least you're expanding this. Yeah. But yeah, for me, Saw, kill it, move on. I'm done with it. I don't want to see it anymore. I haven't watched the last like 4, and I don't care to watch them at all. There's never like I should go back. No, I'm done. Move on. This is one. My next one is one that just popped in my brain because it was like I was trying to remember like what was the first horror movie I ever saw, or at least try to see. And it was these two. And I'm going to go to these two next, but I'm not going to do the because you still got to take your turn. So I'm gonna go with this one and then the next one. These are the first 2 horror movies I ever saw. You know, might have been just like brief glimpses because I was hiding behind the couch when my brother was watching them because I knew I wasn't supposed to be downstairs watching these. But these were the 2 that I watched. The first one is one that I don't think I've ever actually watched a single one of these all the way through. I only ever catch scenes. It'd always be like, you know, oh, you know, I'm going through the movie channels on the cable and I see one. I see a kill scene. I'm like, cool. That kind of creeps me out. I don't want to watch it anymore. And I'll go back. The Puppet Masters. They always intrigued the hell out of me, but I never went and actually watched them. I always heard they weren't that great, and I kind of wanted to keep the stigma of what I had of them in my head, which was these are creepy and they're like terrifying to a little point. But I knew if I sat there and watched the whole movie, I'm like these are fucking lame. So I never wanted to watch them, but I'm conflicted because it's a unique option that they could do with this. But the reason why I think they worked so well in the 90s was because they were practical. Whereas now they wouldn't be practical. They'd be, you know, CG and everything. So it's like, I kind of want to see what they would do with a modernized version of Puppet Masters, but only if you're going to do it the right way. And the problem is I don't think they're going to do it the right way. So it's probably just going to look like cheap CG imagery. But I actually kind of want to see what a new Puppet Masters would look like. So I want to say reanimate it, but only if you're going to do it the right way. What are your thoughts?
I'm not sure I have ever seen a Puppet Master film. Because it was, I mean, I was obviously alive and watching tons of movies during that period, but they were like all straight to videos. That was Full Moon Entertainment, I think was the company that made those. The same company that made like Trancers and Demonic. They actually had like, I think they had a Puppet Masters versus Demonic Toys movies. So I can't really speak intelligently on the past of the franchise, except knowing that it was kind of one of the low budget straight to video kind of just schlocky fun. I know they were popular. But I will actually, you know, just go with you on this. Just because, sure, I'd be curious to see what they could do with it in modern day and modern technology and stuff. And I would hope they would not do CG, although you know they will. Yeah, I say give it a shot. I mean, at least one. And if it doesn't work out, you don't go any farther.
You know what I would love? It's not a horror movie, but I would love that if they made a horror movie of it. I want Small Soldiers, the horror movie. I want a toy line, not Chucky. I'm talking about like action figure toy line, where they basically take the concept of small soldiers, but they want to kill people. They don't want to kill each other.
Just do the Who Framed Roger Rabbit of it and do McFarlane toys.
You really could.
Whether it be Spawn or the monsters or whatever they have, just
you could almost do the same storyline of you know the Gorgonites and the military. I can't remember what their actual military team was called with Tommy Lee Jones. And they basically just like, why are we killing each other? We should kill them. And then just do it. Like I would so be down for that. But yeah, I think Puppet Masters, if you do it the right way, definitely reanimate it. And I want to see what they do with it. But what's your next one?
Yeah. Next, let's go with, here's a curious one. I know a lot of people maybe don't think of it as a single franchise, but it really is, especially because they've had crossovers in the past. I mean, mostly in the far past. The Universal Monsters franchise. This is one I think that's never going to die. They're going to keep making them. Now, they aren't necessarily making them in like, a continuing single, timeline or whatever.
Do you want them to continue to?
Here's the thing. I just recently rewatched The Mummy, the Tom Cruise Mummy. I didn't hate that movie. I thought it was interesting to take. Was Tom Cruise miscast in it? Probably. But I liked their take on the Mummy. I kind of liked Russell Crowe when he was playing Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. I like the idea of they were going to create this universe. Now, I think that the hubris of them to go ahead and I remember that big picture, showing Angelina Jolie and Johnny Depp and they were announcing all these films. I think that doing that before we have a single film out in the series was, I think, what turned a lot of people against it before it even got started. And then people also just like to mock Tom Cruise. So that didn't help either.
I think if Tom Cruise had not been doing Mission Impossible, it probably would have done better. But it's just like I've seen him do this like 6 times at this point.
But I mean, so personally, I would have liked to have seen the Dark Universe continue. I would have liked to have seen Javier Bardem as Frankenstein and Angelina Jolie as Bride of Frankenstein and Johnny Depp as the Invisible Man. I would like to see those films, but that didn't happen. But I don't hate the idea. I mean, the problem is we get like a new Dracula or Frankenstein or whatever film like practically every other year. I mean just right now you got a new Frankenstein. I just watched today the Guillermo del Toro one, and you got The Bride. Maggie Gyllenhaal, I think, directed that one.
You got another Frankenstein movie. No. Yeah, that's the Bride one with Christian Bale, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yes, you got that Frankenstein. You got the Frankenstein with Guillermo del Toro. You had Wolfman earlier this year.
There's a new Dracula, which has already come out in Europe. It's supposed to come out in the US in like January or something like that. Good film too, by the way, watch it. But so while they are still making films on all these characters, I would like to see it as a cohesive franchise. I don't want to see a random Invisible Man, a random Wolfman, because that last one fucking sucked. I want to see the Dark Universe. Now maybe, don't put the, cart in front of the horse, as they say, and just try and boast about everything before to make a successful film and then go from there. But I would like to see a cohesive Universal Monsters franchise.
And the thing is that, they're never going to stop making these. There's a reason why they're iconic. But I agree. I would be more inclined of seeing them do these as long as we know that they're all going to lead to a togetherness point. Like we haven't, like they keep remaking all these. We've only seen the Creature of Black Lagoon in the old version, and then of course Monster Squad. They never actually have made, like its own movie, even modern wise. You would think like, why that one was like the scariest of the group? Why did they never do that one?
Let's got The Shape of Water.
But that was just a love story. That wasn't anything horrible. But I'm like with you. Like I would be inclined to be okay. Like we're always gonna get Dracula movies, or we're always gonna get Mummy and werewolf movies, stuff like that. But if we have like a set one, like almost like DC, it's like you're gonna have like 18 different Batman movies going on, but this Batman is the one that's connected to the Superman, and like this is Dracula. It's connected to this Wolfman. It's connected to this Frankenstein. It's connected to this Mummy. And
I'm not saying I want to see I don't necessarily have to see it lead up to a big. I don't want to see the Avengers of the Dark Universe.
I do,
where all the monsters.
But I do, but it's Monster Squad, and we bring it back. We do a modern version of Monster Squad, and that's the end game of this.
Just to have them kind of take place in the same universe, where yes, a character or two can pop up in another one. It can happen, like Dr. Jekyll popped up in The Mummy when they tried it the first time. Things like that. It doesn't need to be a big giant culmination of it, but just to create a universe where monsters are present and people know monsters are present, and these things can cross over if they need to.
Like we could be in the middle of the Mummy movie, and they could literally be bringing up. Now, I know in MCU it was annoying when they name dropped Captain America just to name drop Captain America, but it's like if we're in the Mummy movie and they acknowledge, well, let's say Wolfman, and they acknowledge what happened in the Mummy, or they acknowledge what happened in this Frankenstein or something like that, because it's like they're in the same world. You don't have to interject them all right away, but eventually get there. Just don't put the cart before the horse. Just let it
so my vote is absolutely for reanimate it, because I mean they're still making movies, so it's not technically dead, but I say reanimate in terms of like reboot it as a take another shot at it.
Get a Kevin Feige or a James Gunn, come up with a plan, and as long as it ends with Monster Squad, reanimate the bitch. I'm all for it. I am all for it.
Let Shane Black write it again. Although he co-wrote with Fred Decker, who's the weaker of the two writers, but yeah.
I mean, I'm okay with Shane Black doing it as long as at some point they say the Wolfman's got nards. I'm all there. So, like I said, Puppet Masters was my other one when I was a kid. My second one, they did reanimate this about a decade back. I didn't hate it, but apparently everyone else did. Poltergeist. Hell yeah. I mean, I'm always like slasher movies and monster movies and everything are cool, but everyone wants to do those. I love ghost movies. I do. And outside of like The Conjuring, which even that's become more demonic, there hasn't really been a real good ghost movie lately, has there? I'm like trying to think of like
No,
a ghost movie.
I can't think of it. There's been some weird ones. There's like the one that was told from like I think it's called Presence, where it's like told from
Oh
ghost
yeah, and then there's Good Boy, which is also the presence of the dog.
and then there was a Ghost Story, which was like the A24 version of a Ghost Story movie.
Yeah.
So that kind of stuff. But as far as like the ghost, like just a ghost as the villainous presence or the antagonist of the movie, I would love to see a real ghost story again too. So do it with Poltergeist. That works for me. I didn't love the last one. I didn't hate it either though. I just think it wasn't. I think we hoped it would be more. But I would love to see them redo that because, like you said, The Conjuring and these other kind of franchises like that, which are kind of indie ghosts, I don't really like a lot of those. So I want to see one that's more just like just a ghost like causing problems. None of this like
and we can do it in a way.
That's what I want. I want ghosts without possession. That's what I want.
We can do it in a way, unlike The Conjuring, where it's not just jump scare the movie. You can have jump scares. There's nothing wrong with jump scares. But that's what the whole Conjuring-verse was jump scare the movie. And they weren't able to really... And it worked effectively. I'm not shitting on it. I know Brian's not the hugest fan of the Conjuring movies like I am. But literally, the only scares were jump scares. And you either... Now, granted, I would say the last good ghost movie was probably when Flanagan was doing The Haunting of Hill House and Haunting of Bly Manor. He knows how to do the ghost shit. Fucking give it to Flanagan. I'm sure he would love to do it, but he wants to do full on like 12 episode series, which I'm totally okay with. But let's get these in movie form. Poltergeist. I mean, everyone who's watched, everyone knows about the tree and the clown doll and the skeletons in the pool. Like, give me something like that today. Hell, make an AI ghost with the way shit is, like a haunted Alexa. Like at least
they tried that, didn't they? Wasn't there a John
Afraid? Yeah. I mean, but like I said, get some people like good, like nothing against John Cho. I'm talking like a good director thing, but like Poltergeist it up. I mean, technically they also tried to do that with like Subservient with Megan Fox.
Oh yeah.
But that wasn't haunted. That was just once again that was like Ex Machina kind of crap. But Poltergeist, I think, could really sell it because the next one after that's Paranormal Activity, which I was going to bring up at some point here too.
Go ahead and talk about it now.
Let's since we brought it all up, Conjuring-verse. Let's get Conjuring-verse and Paranormal Activity out of the way as well. Conjuring-verse. So we both are in agreement. Reanimate Poltergeist.
Yes.
So reanimate that. Conjuring-verse. We know the Conjuring movies are done.
This is the last time.
They should be done because they literally ended the movie with "and Lorraine died and Ed died and then kill it.
Kill
Keep it dead. Don't bring back. Don't do Annabelle's. Don't do the Nun. Curse of La Llorona. I know it technically is. It's like the sister cousin to the Conjuring-verse. Like it's in the Conjuring universe, but it's not. Like, kill it. Don't bring it back.
Kill it.
Yeah. Move on from the Conjuring-verse. I think the Conjuring movies were good, and Annabelle Comes Home. I heard Annabelle Creations is great. I never watched it, but the Nuns were bad. La Llorona was fine, and I heard the first Annabelle movie was not good at all. So definitely kill the Conjuring-verse. Paranormal Activity. I know Brian hates these franchises, so I know you're kill it. But I think once they made it a whole Coven storyline, I kind of lost interest in it. But the concept of how they did these movies with a very minimal budget, and they were able to utilize these scares to the point where, yes, every time they went to bed and it went to the night vision, you're just scanning the screen. And if you have people going, you have them hooked. And that's why I think Paranormal Activity worked so well. It wasn't until the third movie we realized, it's a witch coven. It's like, man, you guys fucked this up, didn't you? But I think with, once again, modern technology. But that was the greatness of Paranormal Activity was how practical it was. And these are movies that can be made cheap. Get these young up and coming directors and say, hey, I'm going to give you 75, maybe 750,000. Make a Paranormal Activity movie. And if you could do well with that, you know, kind of like with Terrifier. The first Terrifier movie was made for what, 500,000?
Oh, something like that. It was Kickstarter funded.
Yeah, I was like, and look where, oh God, his name, director.
Terrifier? Damien Leone.
Look where he's at now. Give some young up and coming director Paranormal Activity.
Yeah, don't make it a Chris Landon started off with I believe Mark Ones? One of the Paranormal Activities.
Yeah, it was. And Mark Ones was the one I was like, ugh, God, no, they're going away from it. It's actually really fucking good. And it does connect to the other movies. Now I know they made like one on Paramount Plus. I didn't watch it. I heard it was not good at all. But this can still be redone. And which is a different approach. Don't connect it to the old series. Don't make it a witch coven. Keep it, once again, kind of like Poltergeist. Keep it ghost. You can have demonic with it as well. That's fine. But keep it in the heart and soul of it. So I'm totally okay with them reanimating Paranormal Activity, as long as you do it that way. I don't need to see flying ghosts in the house or anything like that. It's all about the practicalness of it, and use this as like a jumping pad for a lot of these young up-and-coming directors who want to do horror. I think you'd be more okay with that if they did it that way.
This is going on the split decision for Stack Forest, because I'm just kill it or let it stay dead. I don't know if it's considered dead or not at this point. But I say kill it. Because for me, it's like I have not liked the couple that I've seen. I have not watched the whole franchise. I'm also kind of over the whole, I mean, found footage in general, but especially those which are mostly just like, you know, the house cameras, things like that. It's just, I think that gimmick has been just used and overused. I want to see, like we were just talking about ghosts, I want to see haunted house movies come back. I want to see hauntings. But I'm kind of over the ultra low budget found footage thing.
So we'll lead into the next movie from here since you brought that up. So continue though. But
no, I think that's basically all I was going to say. Go ahead.
Okay. Blair Witch. It's a franchise. It
is.
What, kill it, or do you think you can come up with a better approach outside of show the fucking witch?
Yeah, because when the first one came out, even I got swept up in the kind of hype around it.
Oh, I did too.
Because it was something different, just the idea of it. Now, I wasn't one of these people who actually believed it was real. Like a lot of people try and pretend like, oh, everyone thought it was real. No, anybody with a brain knew it was just a movie.
I was young enough at the age that it came out to believe that, because I was 11. But even I wasn't like, oh yeah, let's go to Maryland and let's go up. Fuck you. Who's dumb enough to do that?
But I mean, it was something different. It was a unique approach. It was you know, kind of a new kind of way to do horror. And it deservedly so got a lot of attention. It made way more than I ever thought it should have, but it was at least it deserved points for trying something different. The sequel, they went away from that completely, and it sucked. They did a reboot. I don't know, somewhere in the 2010s, I think it was.
Yeah,
which was,
it was better than the sequel, but it still just didn't have the same oomph as the first one. But even if you go back and watch the first one, it's not good.
It's really not. It's really not. Like I said, I saw it. I remember because I got caught up in it, like I said, and then I dragged like other friends to see, like, oh, you should check this thing out. Because again, just because it was something different. But then you go back and watch it now, you're like, wow, this really wasn't very good.
You got caught up in it in the first time view because of it was something you had never seen before, and then you go back and watch it a second time, maybe even a third time. You're like, okay, it was the first time experience. After that, it's like, this is really bad acting and kind of cheap that they never actually show anything. Now, granted, the ending is effective with him in the corner, but you made 3-4 movies and you still never show anything. So if you're gonna do it, you're gonna have to give something away, guys. You can't just keep making it like, oh, look over there, quick camera. Nope. And so I say, show the witch or kill it, and don't ever bring it back.
I say just kill it. I think at this point, I don't think continue. You can't really continue even on because they've already kind of like the last one was already kind of a reboot of the previous ones. I know currently, I believe there are plans for Jason Blum from Blumhouse was going to be producing a new version of, I don't know if it's a continuation or a remake, or I don't know exactly what it was. I just know that he was attached to something. Haven't heard anything on that in a while though, so I don't know if it's still happening. But again, it's like, yes, that one's being made. After that one, maybe I could change my tune, but as of now, kill it.
I would be intrigued with Blumhouse taking over it and seeing what they do with it. Blumhouse, I would say, what would you say, about 65% success rate with their stuff?
In my opinion, I'd go more like 40. But I then again, I'm not a fan of a lot of those, the Insidious, the Sinister, the Conjuring. It's like a lot of those kind of franchises I'm not a big fan of.
I was gonna bring up Insidious, and then I remembered I'd only ever seen the first one, so I really can't like give much of an emphasis on that.
I saw at least 2 of them, maybe 3, but I honestly don't even remember a single.
And it's confusing.
When I think of Insidious, I end up realizing, oh wait, I'm thinking of Sinister, and so I'm like, I can't even tell them all apart. I don't.
Well, that and Patrick Wilson's in Conjuring and Insidious, which is confusing as well. I just remember Rose Byrne's wife in this one. Terrifier me. It's like, I know Conjuring, but then it's like I look at Insidious, I'm like, I feel like Ed Warren's just cheating on Lorraine. He's got a second family over here, and this is still happening to him.
So yeah, so I don't know if any of those are ones you were going to bring up, but if you are, just put me down for a kill all those.
Yeah. I was maybe going to bring Insidious up, but the other ones now.
Yeah, but in terms of Jason Blum doing that, he's at least been successful enough that I would be curious to see his take on existing franchise like Blair Witch. But as it is now, I say kill.
All right. I kind of went like 4 in a row there, so why don't you?
That's fine. We're talking about the same one, just matter who brings it up. I'm bringing out a recent one, which I guess it's considered a franchise, but I think it should be. I think it could be a great franchise as an anthology, and that is Fear Street. Fear Street came out with basically their trilogy of movies. A couple of years ago. I think it was like, and I didn't watch it for the longest time because I'm like, I knew it's an R.L. Stein thing, right?
Yeah, R.L. Stein.
It's basically like Goosebumps, but for older kids. It's basically what my understanding is what Fear Street was as books.
Yeah.
So they made this. I'm like, okay, I'm sure there's an audience for that. It's not me. I never read the books. I was too old by the time those books came out. So I really thought it was a lot more skewed towards like teens. But then you told me how much you enjoyed them, so I finally checked them out, and I actually enjoyed that whole trilogy of them. I thought they got progressively better as they went.
It did. It did. Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't like movie of the year or anything, but I enjoyed them way more than I expected to. And then they made the trilogy. Then we thought they'd come out with Fear Street Prom Queen, which I was like, okay, I like this idea. I mean, because Fear Street, as a book series as it was, is perfectly set up to basically be just an anthology. You don't have to have them connected. If you wanted to make a couple of them connected, like they did with that trilogy, you can. But otherwise, you can just have like every year. My thinking was every year, like in October, they should release on Netflix, put out a Fear Street movie.
There is a new R.L. Stein one that just came out. I think it's on Tubi though, which is Pumpkinhead, but it's not a Fear Street though.
Yeah, I just miss anthologies in general. I'm going to talk about another one later on. But because I think that Fear Street. Now, while Prom Queen wasn't Prom Queen wasn't great. It was all right. I didn't dislike it as much as a lot of people did, but it wasn't as good as like the Fear Street trilogy. But while I think that the quality of that specific movie wasn't great, I think the idea of it was great in that it's not. Technically it's in the same universe as the other ones because they try
to connect it like
they make some mention of it. And if they want to do that, if they want to have like all these things are happening in the same universe, that's fine. But it doesn't all need to be super interconnected. It can just be random little horror stories that are not super over the top gory. It's not like Terrifier or something, but it's not Goosebumps either. It's just something kind of scary for older kids or adults that enjoy these stories. So I would like to see that continue on. Now, whether or not it will, because Prom Queen was not a great success, I don't know. But I think that's what some of these streamers especially are missing. I think Hulu's done a good job. Hulu has their Huluween thing, and they put out a couple originals every year. I don't know if they're going to continue doing that, but I think that somebody like Netflix should take something like Fear Street and make it an annual, here's our Fear Street movie.
Well, like I said, R.L. Stine they just had a new R.L. Stine movie come out on Tubi for Pumpkinhead, but that's not a Fear Street one though. But I mean, it's still R.L. Stine. And Goosebumps
Goosebumps though, but I don't consider that the same franchise as Fear Street. So
no, it's not. Goosebumps is its own other thing, and are they doing is it season 2 or is it actual like movie Goosebumps now? I think it's season 2.
Well, there's been a couple movies. There were 2 movies, I think, and there is a series which is season 2. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I didn't even write Fear Street down. I totally forgot about that. Back to 80s childhood. And this one I might get a Brian where he's either on board, he's like, absolutely fucking not, you don't touch this franchise. But I kind of want to see modern day version of it. And that's my boy right here. Gremlins. We haven't had a Gremlins movie since what, 90? Was it 90 or 91?
90.
90. We are 35 years. 35 years since the last Gremlins movie. I kind of want to see what they do in 2025 with Gremlins. What's that?
I have basically that same Gizmo toy, but like the OG one I bought back in 1986 or what it was.
And I'm totally okay with them just straight up remake. Like, it can follow the same fucking formula as the original Gremlins, just today. I know they're not going to go practical with it. I know they're not going to have, like, the puppets for it. So you kind of got to take it what you get. But I kind of really want to see what they would do. I really do. Well, what are your thoughts on Gremlins?
I love Gremlins and Gremlins 2 to a lesser extent. They've never been untouchable for me. I wouldn't be completely opposed to them rebooting it. I would rather see a continuation of it, though. Because while the obvious idea is that they'll go CG.
Would Gizmo still be alive, though?
We don't know the lifespan of these things.
Gizmo has a Fu Manchu. He's like the guy from Kill Bill.
But that's just it, though. These are fictional creatures, and they haven't established a lifespan of these things. So for all we know, these things can live for 100 years without even looking at it. It could be like a Yoda. I mean, basically, it looks like a furry Yoda if you look at him.
If they can make Grogu look good, they can make a modern Grogu or Gizmo look good.
Well, and like Grogu 90% of the time is a puppet. I mean, yeah, there are a couple scenes or shots where they have to use a CG version of it, but I think they could very well. And I want to say, because they've been talking about Gremlins 3 forever. I think the star of it, Zach Galligan, just said, like, in an interview like 2 months ago, they finally have a script they like. So, and Warner Brothers is really keen on doing it. And I've heard for a while now Warner Brothers wanted to do this thing. Because they want to mine any franchise they have in their catalog to try and make movies.
They can sell so many more merchandise and toys with it now.
Oh yeah, because they still merchandise it. They put out there's a Secrets of the Mogwai, I think, cartoon.
It's a cartoon. Yeah.
I didn't watch that, but
neither did I.
I would like if they did it, I would rather see them continue it on. It doesn't even have to have the same actors. If Zach Galligan wants to come back and do it, great. If not, it can be some new family, some new town, whatever.
You don't want Phoebe Cates back?
Well, I would, but she's retired long ago.
Yeah,
she hasn't made a movie in forever. But I think, but I thought I heard them say that if we do this, we're doing puppets because that's what people love about it. If that stays true, I'm all for it. Make a Gremlins 3. Let's see. And then if you want to make more after that, we'll see how the third one does. But I'm all in favor of continuing this franchise. I don't want to reboot it really. I want to continue.
All right. So not reanimate it, just bring it back.
Yeah, I don't know how we classify this one because I guess it'd be reanimate. Well, because it's we can't really say let it live because it hasn't been alive this whole time.
It's been dormant for 35 years.
Yeah, it's been dormant. So I think we'll call it reanimate it, but we are making the stipulation. We're not saying reboot it. We're saying just bring it back.
Just continue on the story.
Yes.
All right. What's your next one?
My next one, I will go with. Where'd my list go? There it is. Let's just script one out here. Resident Evil. There's a franchise. Resident Evil.
Don't they have a new one coming out?
Yeah, well, you had the Mia Jovovich series that did like 7, 8 films, something like that. Then you had was it Welcome to Raccoon City?
Yeah, Welcome to Raccoon City.
There's a one-off, I think, that wasn't successful enough to create a franchise. Who started? Was that Kaya Scodelario, whatever her name is, from Maze Runner?
I think so. So.
And then
didn't they do a Netflix one too?
They did a series. Was it on Netflix? It was somewhere.
I think so.
There was a series, like a I don't know, was it 8 episode or something series. I never watched that one. I don't know if that was any good.
I didn't either.
And then I don't know if the future of it. I'll look up in a minute when you're talking. But I played the games early on. Like I remember getting the very first game. I think I might have played 1 or 2 of the following ones, but then I kind of got it. I wasn't into gaming as much, so I played a lot of the games. The movies kind of all felt like just kind of rehashing over and over and over again to me. It's like, and it was like more slow-mo than a fucking John Woo movie in these things. Mia Jovovich, I actually don't mind her. She's not a great thespian or anything, but I think that she works good as a kick-ass female lead in some kind of horror or sci-fi franchise. But in my opinion would be kill it. I think that they've tried to reboot it a couple more times now. Apparently it's not taken. I think it's just a story that people, whether it's because they drove it into the ground with the Mila Jovovich series and people just got sick of them and realized they weren't that good, whatever the reason, I don't think they're going to be successful. So just kill it.
I am not the biggest Resident Evil video gamer. Like you, I played the first one because it was really, really cool. The second and third one I was kind of like all right with. And then when like four is wildly popular and beloved, and I just couldn't get into it. And then now you have like these other ones where it's like, oh, it's the Village, and then it's like the one where it's like kind of almost like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre kind of family. And like I've watched like videos of it, and it's like, okay, but this isn't Resident Evil. Resident Evil's supposed to be like zombies and monsters, not this. And like they eventually get to that in those games, but it feels like it's lost it's either like it matured itself into something else but lost itself in the process. And that's why I always had a problem with the Mila Jovovich movies, was that they never really felt like the games. The first movie felt like half the game, and then it's like, oh yeah, we gotta do this stylized thing with like the labs and all that shit. I think the second movie was probably the closest it ever got to the actual video games, which is why I was always cool with. I think it's Apocalypse, right? The second one, I think it's Resident Evil Apocalypse, or
I don't know which is.
I don't remember. I just know Extinction's the third one, but those movies just got stupider and stupider as they went on. So yeah, kill this. Kill it, bury it. This is like the last remnants right now of like bad video game movies, since we've actually been in a good rhythm of video game movies actually being good. And then here's Resident Evil going, remember me? No, go the fuck back in the cellar. No one wants to watch you.
Well, you know how we were talking about how The Exorcist sucks, but we want to see what Mike Flanagan does with it? I had forgotten about this. There's a Resident Evil movie coming out September of next year.
That's what I said. I was like, aren't they making one?
It just started filming like 2 weeks ago. It is co-written and directed by Zach Kreger. I had forgotten about this. The current announced cast so far includes Austin Abrams, Paul Walter Hauser, and some other people that I don't recognize. I'm intrigued. I mean, I said kill it, but I'm going to put this one in the same place I put The Exorcist, in that if you're asking me right now, I'm going to say kill it. If this one comes out and it impresses me, we'll reevaluate. But as of right now, I'm done with it.
Yeah, I like Paul Walter Hauser, but that didn't move my needle. Kill it, bury it. I don't want to hear about the Umbrella Corporation anymore.
I don't know if this makes a difference. He did also say it's not based. It's not have any of the same characters from the games. It's just a story set in the Resident Evil universe. So,
which once again, that's still the same problem with the original franchise.
Here's my thing with things like this, honestly, is that if you're going to if you want to tell a story in this universe, but you don't want to use any of the characters who are in the games. Like, just make your own movie. Why does it have to be in this universe?
Then make it's your not own... Resident Evil. Then it's not. They're just attaching the name to get eyes on it. It's just ugh. All right, let's go ahead and knock a big name off the list. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Now, I've got a kind of like Friday the 13th. I love the 2000. We both love the 2003 remake with Jessica Biel and Jonathan Tucker and the rest of the cast, Arlie Emery. But I was never really crazy about any of the others. And the last one that they did on Netflix was fucking trash. It was one of the worst films of the year. But here's my thing. I love the concept of Leatherface. Hate the family of Leatherface. And it always felt like you go to a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie and you want to see Leatherface, but the family takes up 80% of the movie, and Leatherface is like in a little bit of it. And it's like, but I don't want to watch this hick cannibalistic family. I want to watch fucking Leatherface. Now, granted, the last movie was very much a Leatherface movie, but it was written horribly. It fucking sucked. So if it's going to be, actually, you know what? No, this is one of the OG ones where I'm just kill it. I can't. Even if they announce tomorrow another Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I'm immediately gonna go, ugh. Like, yeah, no, kill it. I can't. We're not gonna get the Jessica Biel version anymore, or the way they. Not even talking about just her, but I'm talking about the way they shot that movie, the casting of that movie. Like, the director. We're not gonna get that. So to me, just kill it. Kill this iconic franchise that has maybe 1-2 good movies in it.
Yeah, apparently there's an upcoming 10th film called Texas Chainsaw Legacy in development. A bidding war for future rights is underway, blah, blah, blah. Oh my gosh. Anyway. So yeah, this franchise, I never cared for the old ones. The originally when I saw it, I rewatched it again, several years ago, and I'm like, I don't love this first one. But really it was that 2003 version I loved. Even Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the beginning, the kind of sequel to that one, or prequel to that one, I enjoyed that one. It wasn't as good as the 2003 one, but I still enjoyed it. Texas Chainsaw 3D, I actually enjoyed that one. Part of it's just because it's one of those movies that, use 3D like it should be used, which is just for like, just kind of a gimmicky fun. Instead of trying to, act like they're being all pretentious about, oh, look, this 3D. It's just like, we know it's a gimmick. We're used as one. We're pointing chainsaws at the camera. Come on. Enjoyed that. Enjoyed the cast of it. But then everything after that, I don't even know. I didn't see Leatherface. I think there was another one in there I didn't see. But then there was that one. Was it Netflix movie? Something.
Yeah, it was a Netflix movie.
It was Netflix.
Isn't that like Valentine's Day weekend?
Yeah, the last one was really not good. There's one scene I enjoyed in that, and that's because you're watching a bunch of social media obsessed kids on their phone getting hacked to pieces in a bus. That's the only scene I like.
To me, that was the worst fucking scene. I'm getting you canceled. Shut the fuck.
But that's why I love watching them die. But I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you. It was a bad movie. It was not good. So we're agreeing on this. Let it die.
Yeah, and then they also tried to do the Halloween thing where we're bringing back the final girl from the first movie. It's like, and it didn't matter.
The problem is, unlike Halloween, 90% of your audience, if not more, is like, we don't know this is the girl from the first one. No, we don't recognize
this. We don't remember that. This is not Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
What's your next one?
Let's go Final Destination. Final Destination has recently been revived, reanimated. Here's my thing with Final Destination. I have always loved the Final Destination movies. I think that they are fun. I think they are creative. I think that they are not trying to be anything more than they are. The Final Destination is a franchise like, hey, let's do cool, fun, creative kills, but it's not doing it in a torture porn kind of way. It's doing it just kind of like, this is just, they're just being creative with it.
The Rube Goldberg man.
Yeah, Rube Goldberg.
Yeah.
Everyone kind of loves that, and the whole idea of trying to, and this is another one where kind of the rules have kind of fluctuated as the series goes on. And again, this is another franchise that went through the 3D phase, the height of 3D. They put a couple of them out in 3D, which are fun because they embraced the gimmick for what it was, which is always funny now if you watch them in 2D and things are pointing at the screen for no reason. It's always amusing. So then it was basically dead for, I want to say the last one was the last one 2009 before this? So it's like, yeah.
It was something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so it was another one that went like 15 years before they made another one. They came out with Bloodlines, which I'm a little torn out. Well, the thing is, Bloodlines have been super successful, both in like people's ratings of it and financially. And I'm baffled by it because I enjoyed Bloodlines a lot. But it's like it didn't feel to me like that much better than most. It felt exactly like the rest of the movies. It wasn't like it's like these other ones, and this one was great. It's like it felt in line with the rest of the movies. And then everybody else now is just like, oh my gosh, this is so much fun. I'm like, okay, if you say so. My thing is, I liked the beginning of the movie, the movie the best, I think, because it basically gave the idea of let's take Final Destination, but as like a period piece, like it was taking place in like the 60s. I'm like, oh, this is creative. It gives it a different identity. It doesn't feel like just another Final Destination movie. Oh, here's some more kids that are going to die in creative ways. It like gave you something different about it. And the problem is, though, I feel like if they're going to continue it, and they will, that they will just continue on. And I think they'll also make the same mistake of trying to like, keep it in continuity instead of making each one its own thing. I think it's going to be like, some of the same characters are going to carry on, which I wish they would.
I'm pretty sure everyone fucking died in Bloodline.
Well, yeah, isn't that last shot? It's at least implied that they die. So hopefully, yeah. But what I would have preferred is I think they should have just kept going, period. Like, I'd like to see a fucking Final Destination medieval times. Final Destination fucking, I don't know, go prehistoric. I don't give a shit.
Final Destination Oregon Trail.
Everybody dies of dysentery.
Cholera, all of you.
Final Destination. Fuck it. All the other franchises, Jason and Leprechaun and all that, they all went into fucking space. Let's do Final Destination in space. I don't give a shit. So I would love to see the series continue, but I would love to see it continue in something like that where you kind of have a different era or setting or something.
So is this for you a reanimate, or is this a keep going based off of how you're wanting this to go?
For me, I would think of it as continue, but you're continuing the series. But I would like to see it stay. I don't want to see like the last movie was like, what, a half hour, 20 minutes, or whatever in the 60s, and then it was present day. It's like, no, I want to spend whole movies in these other areas. I
would say based on the last movie, it was probably the longest of all of them that it was in the like manifestation of the actual like thing. So I mean, if you're gonna do that, then great. I'm inclined to agree with you on most of it. We lucked out. We lucked out by, for the most part, everyone dying, because the two characters we cared about most died in the middle of the movie, and we didn't really care about the leads. So them dying means we get to kind of start over fresh. And I also kind of liked more the period things. I actually cared more about like the grandma, or she wasn't a grandma in the beginning, but I cared about like her character back then than I did any of the characters that were the present day stuff. So I mean, I would be more intrigued with kind of the period piece thing, kind of like what they're doing with Predator. But if they want to keep going with modern day stuff, I mean, you can. I mean, it's going to be starting.
I wouldn't mind if it continues on in modern day, which is what it's going to do. Just because I do enjoy these films. I'm just saying that I think they're a missed opportunity of what they could do with it.
Yeah, because I mean, they're going to have to start over from scratch in some way, because the whole concept of this was Bloodline was to kill everyone from the beginning of this movie that grew on, and they did that at the end of the movie. So it is going to start over. So I would say before Bloodline, if we had done this episode, I would have said kill it, because I by the end of Final Destination, was it 5 or 6 or whatever, I was like, I'm over this. Like, it's just not fun anymore. But Bloodline did rejuvenate it for me. So I say let it live. Let's keep bringing in the uniqueness. I would actually love to see a Final Destination from Christopher Landon. I would love to see what he does with it.
Yeah.
I'd be super intrigued by that. Let's do two quick ones that I think we both are going to be in agreement on. So we can knock them off the list. Strangers, fucking kill it. Fucking kill it. Don't even.
I didn't even see the new ones.
I didn't either.
No, I didn't. Because I saw the original Strangers, and I saw that Strangers
Pray at Night.
Yeah, Pray at Night, which they made years and years later. Which was like, whatever. It was whatever it was. But these new ones, I was actually going to see them because I've liked some films Rennie Harlan has made in the past, but his prime is well behind him. And then, obviously we've talked about this before. We heard they made this whole trilogy. They were going to release them like a month apart. They decided to put them like years apart because they weren't doing very well. And they apparently really suck. But yeah, kill it. Let it die.
Yeah, kill the Strangers. The concept of it is not stupid, but everything around the concept of it is stupid. So yeah, kill this, bury it, and burn it. Don't ever bring it back. Hellraiser. We talked about this briefly. It's kind of an example before we got on the show. I like how, like, oh god, what are they called? I know Pinhead. The cinema. I like how they visually look, but I don't really care for any of the movies. So, and they just reanimated this 4 years back, 3-4 years back, when Hulu did their movie.
Yeah, I don't know it's that far back. I want to say it was 22.
Well, that would have been 3 years.
22. Yeah.
Yeah, it was all right, but I didn't go, I want to see more of this. It's so, for me, kill it. I feel like the concept is past because it was also like kind of like the 90s version of torture porn, and then now we've got Saw and Terrifier and stuff like that. So honestly, I would actually love to see Art the Clown and Pinhead together. That'd be a combo. God, that would have to be NC-17. There's no way those two together, that movie would survive any kind of rating thing. But Hellraiser on its own, it never really gelled for me. So for me, I'd say kill it. What say you?
Yeah, I don't have a lot to say on this. I say kill it. I've never really been into the movies at all. I saw the first couple and thought, at the time they're like, oh, wow, these are so gory. But by today's standards, they're honestly kind of tame. Well, and not tame, but they aren't very impressive. But yeah, I'm all for killing this franchise.
What about Candyman?
Candyman, I thought never really worked as a franchise for me. It's like the first movie was what it was. They tried to make two more kind of in that continuity, which I don't even remember very well. But it was just like that was back in the days when the sequel was just, oh, here's more of the same. Then they made the Candyman with was it Nia DaCosta, I believe was the director of it, which was fine. It's basically tried to take Candyman and this time add social commentary onto it. Which some people want. I didn't hate it. I had a lot of people that I liked, like Yaya, but overall, I was not impressed by it. It's the kind of thing that I can see them, remaking it again 20 years from now or something. I don't think it needs to be a franchise, though.
I think the most recent one started strong, but fumbled the end.
It had a great atmosphere look to it, but the plot and everything was kind of like, okay, whatever. I
feel like once they fully embraced Candyman, it fell apart. I thought the whole build through it was great, and then the last 15 minutes fell apart for me. Now I would be open to it continuing, and this is nothing against Nia DaCosta. I think they did. I think they she did a fine job. I would like to see what Ryan Coogler would do with it after Sinners. I'd be super intrigued to see what he would do with this. Take the stylized version of Sinners, which, like I said, Nia DaCosta did a great version of that with that. But I want to see Coogler do Candyman. I'd be really interested in that. If you're not going to do anything like that, then I'd say kill it. Because, like I said, Tony Todd. Yaya did good, but he's no Tony Todd. He's no Tony. So yeah, I think kill Candyman. It's not. It was fine. It was a fine first movie. The sequels didn't do. The reanimated version of it was probably about 22 again, 21, 22.
Oh, which one?
The
new Candyman
one. Was it like 21, 22?
I can check real quick. Candyman was 2021. Yeah.
Yeah, like it was fine, but obviously not enough to continue it. So I'd say yeah, kill from there. What's your next one?
Well, let me see. We didn't really talk about it in depth, but Hostel. I know you want to kill it, so I'll kill that one as well.
Yeah, torture porn, kill
it. Another one who's kind of had a franchise, but I don't think it's worth the conversation. The Amityville horror franchise, kill it.
What about The Purge?
The Purge. Here's my thing with The Purge. The Purge is one of those things where it's like the whole concept of it is just so ridiculous that I have such a hard time buying into the basic concept of it. They would never happen. So it's like it's kind of hard to get it. The first one I thought was like, it was okay. Second one was Anarchy, I think.
Maybe.
Yeah, but you brought in Frank Grillo. That's always a good step. So that's kind of fun. Then they had Purge, election day, whatever it's called.
Election year.
Which honestly, it's like again, not a great movie, but it's like at least they were finding a new take. You know, they're putting the whole political, especially as things have started. They were basically on the way to where they are now. It's like it kind of works, you know, with the atmosphere at the time. Then they did the first Purge, which I thought was an interesting idea. And that one, again, I didn't love it. It's probably I think it's one of the better ones of the franchise.
Yeah.
Because it was a different setting, a different kind of look and feel to it. So that was something different.
Then you had the Forever Purge.
Forever Purge. Yeah, I forgot about that one. But I don't hate any of these movies, but it's one of those franchises like they come out and I watch them just because it's there to watch them. I'm never like excited about a new Purge movie. So while I don't hate them, I say let it die. They don't really everything.
Yeah, like the first Purge, I remember the concept. I was like, oh man, it's gonna be awesome. And then it just kind of became The Strangers, but it was more like legal. Because it was like you have like Ethan Hawke and Leah Headey, like you have a good like leads, and you just kind of wasted the potential of what this movie could have been. And then the sequels were like, okay, this is what you want, then okay, we'll do that. And they all were like a social commentary on something, which you're either on board with that or you're not. Like Election Year, I thought was interesting for what it was doing, and like I said, Frank Grillo, hell yeah. Anarchy, I wasn't super crazy about. First Purge though was actually I actually really thought that one was like really like now your guys are kind of figuring it out. Like you're the fourth movie in, but I feel like you're finally kind of figuring out what this week should be. Forever Purge was stupid. Whereas like so you're not the Purge anymore. You're just Mad Max. Like if it's consistently going the whole time, then you've lost the plot of what the Purge is at that point. Then they did the TV show, which I didn't watch. I know it went 2 seasons. But yeah, I'd say unless you have some new unique idea for it, which I think they've kind of hit every parameter that you really could hit with this concept, I'd say let it die.
There's something. Oh man, I wish there's something recently, which it was basically the Purge, but like with something like the Purge with superheroes, the Purge with something. I don't remember what it was, but I was like, it was basically the exact same plot as the Purge. I wish I could remember what it was, but
it sounds familiar because I feel like you and I were like, this is basically the Purge. But I can't.
I'm not gonna remember it though, so
I can't remember what it is now either. But I was like, I was like, it's the Purge. Yeah, go ahead.
So you're the Purge. Let's.
I've got 6 more franchises.
Well, I got a bunch of stuff listed, but a lot of them aren't worth talking about. So, I'll go with Terrifier.
So we've got the 4th one coming, which supposedly is the last one. I don't think it is.
Yeah, it's like I mean, because we know nothing about the story of the 4th one, where they're going.
Other than the first act is supposed to be the origin of art. I feel like that's bullshit. I feel like we're never gonna find out why art
the problem is in the Terrifier movies, which I've been a big proponent of. Obviously, I've tried to turn a lot of people onto this even before like they finally blew up the kind of with this last one, but they've always tried to create this whole mythology, like like especially in Terrifier 2, they were talking about there was the drawings. They talk about how the dad's involved, and and trying to find. And then in 3, they kind of expanded on a little bit. They didn't give you any answers, but more questions than anything else. But clearly, it's like we have this mythology of where the story is going to go, and this 4th one is supposedly going to wrap that up. It's like, I think Art the Clown is better without this mythology. He was just some fucking sadistic thing that's out there. He just likes to torture people and kill people and stuff like that.
And that's the problem, is that everyone has to know the why to everything. It could just be some random dude who just is a sadistic motherfucker who wants to know.
Honestly, that's scarier. If somebody doesn't have a reason, he just fucking enjoys it.
Now, you had to add the supernatural element. You had to add the little one. Then you had to add the oh god, what's her name? His like minion girl. I'm blanking on her name. Which none of that's bad. I know this sounds like I hate all that. I don't hate it, but the first Terrifier film, before the end of the movie, when you realize, oh, he's not just a regular person, was like just this crazy dude dressed up in a creepy thing, and he didn't talk, and he was just unnerving, and he was a sadistic motherfucker. And now it's like, well, he's not a person, so I don't know what he is, so I don't know how to.
Yeah, is he a demon? Is he? We don't know what the fuck he is.
Yeah,
but it's something supernatural. And so for me, it's like, would I want to see the series continue? Absolutely. But I want it to continue, because I almost wish they'll wrap up the mythology of it in this 4th one, like they say they're planning to. But then I say continue it on, but just let this be Art fucking kill. Let Art the Clown be the new, Jason. Just he has movies. He's a new group of people he's gonna fuck up. That's what I want.
Let's just put Art in all these different settings and scenarios, and let's do a summer version where he goes, or no, let's do a spring break Art the Clown.
That'd be awesome. I would love that.
Spring break Art the Clown. He's walking around on the beach in his full Art get-up with all these people in bikinis, and he's just going.
I want to see Art just show up in other franchises. I want to see Art versus the Muppets. I want to see Art.
I want to see Art in the summer going up next to a boat, and him just pulling a shark out of the water and flinging it on the boat.
That's just it. This is the kind of franchise you can do fun stuff like that. And I think so much horror nowadays is also fucking super serious. There aren't really that many fun horror movies anymore. And it's like, I think that Terrifier is the one, and part of the reason it's been successful is because they're fun to watch. It's not super serious, and it's like, like even like the Conjuring movies are super popular, but everything's just, it's serious. Like, fuck you.
Well, that's the thing, is that like, even with Terrifier, you can talk of all you have to do is say a location scene. Terrifier 2, the bedroom scene. Terrifier 3, the co-ed bathroom scene. Terrifier 1, I guess the girl hanging upside down. You can say that. Everyone who's seen them can immediately visualize that scene. And as hardcore as those scenes are, there is this element of I don't want to say enjoyment, because that just sounds sick, but funny to it, where it's like, I am not enjoying it, but I can see the funny in it, mainly because it's Art going like this kind of thing. And so, both of us let it live, let it continue, keep going. Even though I wasn't the craziest fan of Terrifier 3, because I thought Terrifier 2 just was like, yes, it tries to make everything way too big, but like the straight up final girl story, when it wasn't trying to go mythology based, Terrifier 2 is kind of this perfect little like horror film when it wasn't trying to make it all mythology. And 3, I think, had the idea but didn't fully capitalize on it. I think it just like capsized on its own pressure to beat what Terrifier 2 was, and it didn't. It was still fine, but it didn't match Terrifier 2. But I'm intrigued to see what they go with on 4, and I would love for them to continue with Art, like you said, in different scenarios. Like, just throw Art in all these in these weird areas, and just let it have fun. You can come up with so many ideas, so many movies. Hell, you just do shorts. This is one of those where you could literally do a series a Terrifier series, and each episode is art at just a different location fucking people up. So yeah, both of us let it ride on that. Now, speaking of a movie that is so horror gory centric that was fun, we have one that was like that and reanimated itself into a more serious, and that's Evil Dead. Now, Evil Dead, we all love back when it was Evil Dead with Ash and Army of Darkness, and even Ash versus the Evil Dead TV series. I fucking love that series. Definitely should not have been canceled. They should have just let that go at least another 2 seasons. But then we got Evil Dead 2013?
13.
Yeah. And then we had Evil Dead Rise, and now we've got Evil Dead, they're making it right now.
Evil Dead Burn.
Yeah, Burn. I was like, I thought it was. Yeah. And that is not fun. It's not funny. It's just straight up brutal to the absolute 10th degree. And it's effective. It is very, very effective. But what say you, Brian? Do you find them enjoyable? Like, do you ever want to go back and rewatch these new Evil Deads? Like, they're effective and they're good at what they do. But do you ever go, you know what? I want to go back and watch Evil Dead and Evil Dead Rise.
Yes, actually.
You did?
I think that Evil Dead is one of those franchises that it did reinvent itself. Is it for the better? I won't say for the better, because everybody loves, Bruce Campbell as Ash. But I don't think for the worse. I think it's just like, we kind of did this thing. I think if they tried to do it again and put somebody else as like Ash or an Ash type character, I think that there would just be too much comparison. There's no way they could live up to that.
I think that their concept of the first Evil Dead was what it is now.
Mm-hmm.
But Sam Raimi just loved how funny Sam. Wow, why am I blanking on Ash's real name?
Campbell?
Thank you, Bruce Campbell. How funny he was.
Mm-hmm.
And because of Bruce, changed the trajectory of what Evil Dead became, which worked so well. And so now that Sam and Bruce are no longer part of it, they feel like they have to go this route so they don't feel like a carbon copy or a ripoff.
Listen, I think they did think that Bruce Campbell, he did 2, and he did Army of Darkness, and he did Ash versus Evil Dead, and obviously there's been video games and comic books and stuff too. But then when they decided to reboot it, they're like, well, let's just kind of go back to being a pure horror movie, and it still definitely has that Sam Raimi style to it, even though he's just producing them, he's not directing them. And it's just this like brutal horror, which I'm okay with. I mean, I liked 2013. Actually, the 2013 one might be my favorite of the series. Honestly, I enjoy the old Evil Dead movies, but I think that they're, I think I remember more of the comedic moments more than the horror moments.
Oh, absolutely.
So as an overall film, I think as a total film, I think 2013 is the better one for me. Evil Dead Rise. When I first saw it, I was a little disappointed by it, but actually, when I rewatched it, I've actually enjoyed it more. Again, not a perfect movie, but it's got lots of cool, brutal, bloody horror moments, and I enjoy them. And so I have gone back and rewatched it at least once or twice, and I'm curious to see what the next one brings. So I
think Evil Dead Rise could have even gone further, because I find it hard to believe that there's only those few people in the apartment complex. I know they were buying it out and shit like that, but it's like, you guys could have gone so much more with it. The main thing that bothered me was more the acting of the family, not the mom who was infected. The mom and the sister were fine. It was more the kids. They took me out of the movie because they weren't great. Other than the kids, the Evil Dead Rise I thought was very effective. But yeah, I agree. In terms of a full-on horror movie from beginning to end, 2013's Evil Dead is near perfection when it comes to what it was setting out to do. And there are still scenes from that movie that are burrowed in here that are never going to go away. Whereas Rise didn't have that. It was still effective, but it doesn't have those scenes like the box cutter with the tongue, or the nail gun, or her trapped under the truck. Like those are all like you remember those vividly, much like with Terrifier. And I'm not mad that we don't have Ash anymore, but when I think Evil Dead, I think of fun Ash, and we don't have it anymore. So do I miss it? Yes. Am I mad that we don't have it anymore? No, but it doesn't necessarily make me excited to watch the Evil Dead movies that much. Like I don't want to. I'll go back and rewatch Army of Darkness and Ash vs. Evil Dead 10 times over before I'll watch 2013's or Evil Dead Rise. Even though as a horror film they are considerably better, whereas Army of Darkness and Ash are horror comedies. So yeah, obviously let it ride, but I would love if we had some fun in it. It doesn't have to go full comedy, but add some fun to it a little bit. Just break the tension just a tiny bit. Speaking of going fun and trying to actually be funny with their horror, let's knock these duos out. And then we have the two big guys for the main event. Unless you have some real other big ones that you want to talk about.
I have three big ones I know of, but go ahead.
Well, which I think they're probably the same three big ones, but I got a fourth one just because it came out this year. Mm-hmm. Let's knock that one out first. I know what you did last summer. We know it's hand in hand with another franchise, which we'll do that one next. I know what you did last summer. Had two movies. Thought it was gone. They revived it this year. Kill It. Kill It, Stay Buried. This new one failed in every way imaginable. Even with Freddie Prinze and Jennifer Love Hewitt back, it did not work.
If anything, it to me hurt the previous films because of what they've done with some of the characters.
It tarnished the franchise for what it did. So keep it dead. Don't bring it back. Let's just pretend that last one did not happen.
Like we were already pretending that third straight to video one didn't happen. Let's just lump this in with that one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Going into that, we have to talk about what connects I Know What You Did Last Summer, and that's Scream. Obviously we have Scream 7. Is it being made yet, or are they still waiting?
No, it's filmed. It's coming in like January or February.
It's always January now. January's become like, I thought it was February actually.
It might be. I'm checking.
Yeah, I think it went to February because I immediately went,
February 27th. Yeah, February 27th.
What do you think? Keep going, kill it. Can't really rebrand it. It's Scream.
I think I'm going to surprise people with my pick on this one. Kill It. Because, I mean, there was the first run. Obviously, they came back and did Scream. I'm going to call it Scream 5, Scream 5, and Scream 6, which was still a continuation of the timeline, but it was essentially new characters. You kept bringing in old ones, but honestly, I thought that it was going to be like, these old characters are here, and then they're going to transition into focusing on the new people. But instead, they keep leaning on the crutch of the old characters. And then now in Scream 7, they're basically bringing back even more of the old characters.
Pretty much all of them that are still alive.
Gotten rid of two of our core four of the new franchise. And to me, it's like as excited as I was for Scream 5 and Scream 6, I'm finding myself largely ambivalent about Scream 7 even. I mean, you got Kevin Williamson back, who's writing it and I think directing it too. Yeah, he's directing it. But you bring back Sidney Prescott. I don't need her back. You bring back Courtney Cox. I don't need her back.
You're also bringing
back as Stewie Riley, supposedly. Not sure how that works, but I don't need him back. There's been rumors they're even going to have Stu.
It's not rumored. It's 100% confirmed.
So it's like to me, it's like they're grasping at straws. Like, oh well, there are new stars left, so let's just get the old stars back, and we're basically making our own Scream 5. We're basically continuing the old continuity. And it's like I don't just let it go. I mean, basically, once you lost the guys who made it, Radio Silence, who had done 5 and 6. Then you had Christopher Landon, which had us super excited if you like him. So we're like, okay, well, if they're not going to do it, they're off doing something else creative. Great, let them do Ready or Not 2 or whatever, and we'll watch Christopher Landon do Scream 7. Then after the whole debacle with
Melissa Barrera
and Ortega left too, and Christopher Landon's like, I'm out. I don't want to be part of this. And so he left, and so my interest dropped in it. Kevin Williamson being back on it is, I mean, a little bit reassuring, but again, it feels like it's just like they're running back to the old stuff, and I don't need to see more of the old stuff. So, surprisingly, as much as I love this franchise, kill it.
I wish 7 was already killed. I think as soon as you lost Melissa and Jenna,
should have killed the project.
It should have just killed the project and not continued it. I feel like adding or making the story fully about Sydney again and Gail is a desperate move because they know that they lost the 2 main leads of the new trilogy. So how are we going to get people to actually care about bringing this back? Let's bring everyone and their mom back into this because that's the only way people are going to come see this now. That's going to make them forget about Jenna Ortega and Melissa Barrera. This movie is going to be something that you and I are going to be so strongly opinionated on when we come February to see this movie. You and I are it's going to have to do something to really win us the fuck over because we are so just, so if I had it my way, I would have said kill it after 6. We know we get 7. Unless they do something to drastically win us over, kill this. Kill it as fast as you can after 7 ends. And
I mean, I'm going to see the new one. I hope it's good. I hope I'm wrong, and I love Part 7. I hope I do. I just don't expect it's going to be.
I expect maybe a 15% chance of us actually enjoying it. Yeah. So yeah, I think we're both in agreement. Kill because of what happened. Kill it. If they were still together, Barrera and Jenna, and even Landon, then let it ride. Let it live. But because of all that crap, fucking yeah. All I've got left on my list are obviously the last 2 big dogs. Do you have anything else you want to talk to before we go to the last 2 big dogs?
You know, I'm just gonna speed round a few here. Happy Death Day. I want to see a Part 3. I don't know if you.
It deserves a Part 3 with how Part 2 ended.
Exactly. Continue.
Let Happy Death Day ride.
28 days, years, whatever later. I say kill it. I mean, they made this. My understanding is it's trilogy. I think there's still a third one coming out. Bone Temple. I so wanted to like the new one. I didn't really care for it. My interest in Bone Temple has dropped because of that, but also because the trailer didn't do much for me. The trailer looked like just shots from the first movie. And so I'm of the opinion. I say kill that one.
I wasn't super crazy about the 28 franchise. I'm just gonna call it the 28 franchise. I wasn't crazy about it when they first came out. I was intrigued by it because the last one had Aaron Taylor Johnson and Ralph Fiennes, but he didn't really win me over in this one. So I really don't give a shit about Bone Temple or whatever the next one's gonna be. I don't care if Cillian Murphy is gonna be back for it. Kill it. I don't care.
The Omen. I didn't see the first Omen, but I've heard it actually was good. But I've never really cared about any of the Omen movies, so my opinion would be kill it.
Seen the first one. I think I watched the remake with Julia Stiles. Didn't care for either one. Yeah, not a fan. Kill it.
Just because there's so many of them, I thought we had to include Leprechaun. Kill it.
Kill it. I've never liked them. I always thought it was the dumbest shit
ever. First one was kind of amusing, the idea of a Leprechaun horror movie, and plus you had Jennifer Aniston in it and Warwick Davis. But everything after that, when it started going in the hood and then in space, and then there's been like at least 2 more attempts at reboots since then.
Because they had a Hornswoggle from WWE be Leprechaun. No, kill Leprechaun. It's not.
The Of the Dead franchise, the Night of the Living Dead, the Diary of the Dead, Return of the Living Dead, the Land of the Dead.
I feel like with that, Walking Dead or the Walking Dead universe has the staple on zombies now. So anything of the dead, even though it might be in memoriam of George Romero, it's not the Walking Dead franchise. And you can say what you want about the Walking Dead franchise. They're the modern zombies now. And unless you're coming out with World War Z 2, I don't really care about any of the zombie movies.
Yeah, I feel like the Of the Dead movies, I feel like never, I mean, Dawn of the Dead, the 2004 version.
Sorry. Good. Or Train to Busan. If it's Train to Busan's world, I'll actually be okay with Army of the Dead sequel. If Snyder's gonna do it. I mean, you and I both were kind of on it, but the world of that was intriguing. but he's not going to come back and do it. So at that point, no.
Well, see that wasn't an official like of the dead. That wasn't the Romero franchise. That was just somebody else who put that.
I'm talking about like in terms of zombie movies in general.
Yeah. So of the Dead franchise, I say kill it because I've never really thought any of them were good outside of 2004's Dawn of the Dead. And even like now, as you already pointed out, I think there's so many other movies and TV shows with just doing zombies and doing zombies better that this franchise should just be dead.
Even of the 04 Dawn of the Dead, I think it's got a phenomenal first half, and then I think the second half falls apart.
I will say I rewatched it recently. Wasn't as hot on it as I was originally.
It's not. Yeah, I watched it like 2 years ago, and I was like, I don't like this as much as
I think because before that, it'd been just slow zombies, and so it was something new and exciting. But now, since then, so many more zombie movies have been done and TV shows that do it as good or better that you're like, okay, that one is just okay.
Yeah.
Only two more, actually, three more speedrun ones. Quiet Place.
They have to finish. They have to do at least one more to finish the story.
Yeah, there's Quiet Place 3 coming out. I'm curious to see it, but I don't know if it needs to continue. It's a movie where it's based on a gimmick, basically, and not a gimmick, but it's based on one idea. It's like these things, you have to be quiet because they can hear you. I enjoy the movies, but I don't really need more. I'd say finish off this trilogy and be done.
I think if Quiet Place 3 has a definitive ending, kill it. If it doesn't, let it ride until you get to an actual.
Okay, here's one for you. I'm curious to see if you would want to revive it. Jaws. My opinion would be let it stay dead. Because most of this, the sequels were generally not good, and there are so many other shark movies these days that I don't know if you need to do.
Do I want to see them do a modern take of Jaws? Sure. Do I want it to be Jaws? No. Jaws is Jaws. Leave Jaws alone. Don't touch Jaws. That's like if I asked you, hey, you want them to remake Back to the Future? No, don't fucking touch it. But if they want to do a movie that is like Back to the Future, that's its own thing, but it's doing that, you might be more open to that. I am open to a movie that is like Jaws, that is very very character-driven, like Jaws was, and it's all about hunting this great white shark that's very like Jaws, but it's not Jaws.
So the actual Jaws one, you would say stay dead.
Jaws stay dead, but if you're going to make a shark movie that is like Jaws, which I know people are like, this is just basically Jaws. Okay, cool, but it's not Jaws though. Don't call it Jaws. As long as you don't call it Jaws, you can remake it and call it Teeth or whatever the fuck you want. That's fine. Just don't call it Jaws. Just don't. I'm okay with them doing a modern day version. I actually would love a really, really, really fucking good shark movie that's not just a generic sci-fi douchey piece of crap. I would love a fantastic shark movie. Just don't call it Jaws. That's all I ask.
There you go.
What's that? The Shallows. Well, yeah, or The Shallows. That's the only other outside of Deep Blue Sea. Those are like the only three good shark movies to me.
There have been other fun shark movies, but I wouldn't call them good movies. Okay, the last one before we get into the big two is the one it's barely a franchise, but it was a franchise because it had two films. Actually, a third one went straight to video, which I don't care about. Tales from the Crypt. I want to revive the fuck out of this because.
Hold on. Do you want to revive it as a movie or as a show?
I would be open to either one. I would prefer movies just because they can go bigger and you have a full, hour and a half, 2 hours to tell your story. But I also can see why they wouldn't necessarily make this a movie franchise. I could see them making a TV show or do, like I said, they should have done with Fear Street. Do a Tales from the Crypt movie on streaming, on Netflix or HBO Max or whoever owns rights to it. HBO Max was HBO show. So I say do that because I love anthologies. Not everything to me has to be this big drawn out franchise. It doesn't have to be, The Conjuring where it keeps going or Halloween where it keeps going or anything. It's like I just want a story and then another story. I don't need big long drawn out franchises, which is why me, I prefer movies over TV for that very reason. So I want my anthologies back. So if you want to give it to me as a movie, great. If you want to give it to me as a show, great. Just give me fucking something. Tales from the Crypt.
I would rather prefer it as a show, just like they did Tales of the Crypt, where you have Crypt Keeper at the beginning and at the end, basically telling you the story, and then each episode it's kind of its own thing.
It's its own thing, and they always had like guest directors and big stars that come on it because they didn't have to, because they weren't committing to a series. They're like, I'm committing to come on and do an episode of the show, one episode.
Yeah. So, I would love it if HBO Max, because that's probably the biggest one that I can think of. That I don't like. Netflix could do it, but I feel like it's in the HBO Max.
I feel like if it got done, it would be HBO Max. It was an HBO show,
or Hulu. Those are the only two that I feel like I could like trust that it's gonna get done the way that we would want it to get done. So, but yeah, definitely like a 10, 12 episode anthology season each. Like American Horror Story is kind of doing that now, but they need Crypt Keeper for it.
Yeah, or do with Marvel Zombies. Well, I would not dump them all at once, but I believe I think it was it last year. Maybe I'm thinking of. I don't know what I'm thinking of. But if you want, I say if you want to make a 6 episode series, you don't want to commit to something big, make 6 episodes and release them every weekend from late September through Halloween.
Yeah.
Just do it like it doesn't have to be a big giant production, but I just want my anthologies.
Yeah, I agree.
All I left out is the big 2.
So. All right, so I mean, we say the big 2, but we literally started off with Jason. So
we didn't want to start off weak, So.
Yeah, the remaining big 2. Let's go ahead and knock out the one that's the most recent, and that's Halloween. I say let it die. We got the new trilogy. I feel like Michael Myers, when they've tried to do it without Laurie, or remake a new Laurie, like the Rob Zombie one, they haven't been good. I feel like Michael Myers, the concept of him is great, but it only seems to be fully executed if Jamie Lee Curtis is there. Now, could you start over with Michael Myers again and have an actual good cast with it? Maybe, but you also got to get that cast to want to be in a Halloween movie. And that's the thing, is that no one really wants, you're not going to get big name actors to do horror unless you have like a big name director behind it. I think as much as I dislike the last 2 Halloween films, I feel like that should have been the final nail in the coffin for Michael Myers. Michael Myers and Laurie Strode are connected. Jamie Lee Curtis isn't going to be doing it much more. I don't want them to remake a new Laurie. I think because they tried that and they failed. I think it ended on a weak note, and it should just stay that way. Michael isn't the most. If I have to choose between watching Michael or watching Jason, I'm going to watch Jason. Jason to me is more, and I say this as 2 lumbering people who barely move and kill people. Jason is more enjoyable as a killer than Michael Myers is. So if I have to choose between one slow lumbering killing machine, I'd rather watch Friday the 13th before I'd rather watch Halloween. Even though the first Halloween is better than probably almost any of the Friday the 13th outside of 2009, I say kill Halloween. Do Trick or Treat. Make Trick or Treat an anthology franchise.
That always should have been an anthology franchise. We should be on Trick or Treat 7 by now.
Yeah, I say kill Halloween.
Yeah,
I know that's sacrilege right now, but I'm yeah.
Oh, I absolutely agree. I think they should have killed it every time they brought it back. They should have killed it. Because I mean, there was the original.
Evil dies tonight.
There's the original kind of run of the first. I suppose you can think of it as like the first probably 5 or 6 films.
I say 2.
Well, there's a 2, but then kind of 4 and 5 are kind of think are kind of in that same run, even though they're much more separated than the first 2, because then you got like that. Basically in the wake of Scream, you had like all the the big ensemble young cast of like the
Paul Rudd,
H2O, and Halloween Resurrection, and those those are kind of like the Scream knockoff versions of Halloween that came out. And then you had obviously the Rob Zombie reboots and stuff, and then the newest one. But the problem is like there's even just looking at the original run of films, there's like, depending on which timeline you want to consider, there's like 5 different ways to watch the films and which ones are actually connected and which you can and which aren't. And it's just such a fucking mess. So if they continued it, it would have to reboot. I don't want to see another reboot. I never thought it was worth more than maybe, honestly, the first film, I don't hold in as high esteem as a lot of people, but it's a good, enjoyable movie. I like the movie. The first one is great. I honestly don't remember. Everything else is kind of a blur as far as what's from what movie, kind of like Friday the 13th. But for me, I'm just not even interested. The Halloween 2018, I was pleasantly surprised by, and so I was curious to see the potential of where they could go with it. And then they fucking just crashed and burned in the next 2 movies. But I just let it die. I agree, let it die.
There's only one real horror movie franchise left, and that, of course, is a movie that shockingly we haven't had in 15 years, and that's A Nightmare on Elm Street. It feels wrong that we haven't had Jason in 16 years. It feels even more wrong that we haven't had Freddy in 15 years. We know Robert Englund can't do it anymore. It's not that he's in poor health. It's just that I don't think he wants to. So it basically is keep it dead or reanimate it. Now, I did hear that there are, I guess, people working on a script for this. Mm-hmm. Did you hear who they want to play Freddy?
Well, it was
a rumor thing. It wasn't like a.
It was misconstrued in the press. There was an interview with Chuck Russell, who directed Nightmare on Elm Street 3, and he also directed The Mask. So somebody in this interview is talking about, what about like Jim Carrey? He could make a good, Freddy Krueger. And he's like, oh yeah, I think Jim can really do anything. He can, especially because of the way Freddy Krueger's always had like this sense of humor about and stuff. I think Jim Carrey could do a great job. And that turned into, they're looking at Jim Carrey for the new Freddy Krueger. It's like, nobody said that. Somebody just asked him if he thought Jim Carrey would make a good one.
I don't even think Jim.
And this is Chuck Russell, who's not even involved in any new version of it, as far as anybody knows. So it's like he was just somebody who happened to direct one of those. They asked him about it, and then the press blew it up into Jim Carrey is going to be the new Freddy Krueger, and it's not the case.
Jim Carrey wouldn't do it. I don't see Jim doing it.
Well, he wouldn't. I mean, the only thing he comes out of retirement for, apparently, is Sonic movies, and then they're talking about being in the Jetsons, which he's way too fucking old to be in the Jetsons, but don't get me started on that. As far as Nightmare on Elm Street, I enjoyed the movies back in the day. As bad as some of them were, I watched them all. Because, I mean, I was, really too young to be watching them. By the time the last couple came out, I was old enough. But, I was still, when you're young and a teenager or whatever, you're just like, oh, cool, I'm seeing blood and guts and there's some boobs and stuff. And, they were just, and it was, again, it was fun. Because Freddy was toying with them. He's making his one-liners. He's making jokes. So it had a style to it. Then they tried to reboot it in 2010. And the biggest mistake they made was saying, nope, we're going serious with it. We're just going to he's going to look like an actual burn victim, which is, you don't want to look at that.
Yeah.
You want to look at the stylized version of the Robert Englund one. Because when you just have like his nose is all basically missing and it's just like, it just looks ridiculous.
And a lot of people want to blame Jackie Earle Haley. It's like, no, he was a perfect Freddy. It's not his fault. He was the perfect casting choice. It was. Well,
I don't think it's perfect. I think he could have been the perfect Freddy, but I think they had to have that same tone. I think that by making him super serious, the Freddy character did not work at all. But not because of Jackie Earle Haley, because of the direction and the script of it.
Yeah, he was the perfect casting choice with the wrong script.
With the wrong script and the wrong makeup.
Yes. And but yeah, keep going.
So the question of this particular show is,
reanimate it or let it die?
Yeah. Do we reanimate it or do we let it die? I think let it die. I think if you wanted to come back, if they finally got together, Ash versus Jason versus Freddy, if they wanted to do Freddy versus somebody else, Freddy versus Art the Clown, be fucking awesome. Because Art's been like in the
Freddy versus Art the Clown, I think is a $300 million idea.
I think it's a great idea. I think that's the most interesting thing to do with Freddy right now.
This will never happen. This will never happen. I want a horror Hunger Games. Drop Michael, Jason, Art, Freddy, Chucky, all of them.
Whatever, yeah.
Ghostface, one of the whichever fucking ones, I don't know. Drop Alien, Predator, drop all those motherfuckers on an island, or not even an island, just like a place. Lock them all in, battle royale style. Let's fucking go, because it's probably gonna end up being Michael, Jason, Freddy, and Art that are going to survive. And
the problem is you get to the end of the movie and they just chop each other up, and then everybody reforms. They chop each other up again. They reform. Like nobody can die. Fuck this. What the hell?
Jason would die because Jason will eventually just he'll die, or not Jason. Michael will die.
Yeah.
So it'll just be Jason, Freddy, and Art. I can see Freddy and Art like teaming up and just fucking with Jason. And then Freddy looking over at Art like, what can you do? I can do this. What can you do? It's just like I think that would be.
I'm surprised that's the kind of thing. If you're going to use Freddy, I think he's best used in something like that. But as a franchise, though, it's Nightmare on Elm Street. Kill it.
See, I don't want to kill it because it just feels weird not having. And I say it feels weird not having Freddy Krueger out there anymore, but we've been 15 years without him. It always felt like someone's got to be thinking of a new Freddy, a new version of Freddy, someone to give us that Robert Englund stigma. And even right now, I'm trying to think of like who could do it, and I'm trying to think of someone who. And I don't want to say
Ryan. An actor? Reynolds. You mean like a writer director?
No, I'm talking about take over as Freddy.
Yeah.
And technically,
who'd be perfect for it is David Thornton Howard, but he's Art. But then that'd be too much typecasting.
But you also don't know how he is voice wise, because that's all about the voice as well. And obviously, Ryan Reynolds would be perfect for it, but you don't want Ryan to do that. Because how he is with Deadpool, you add that, but then Ryan doesn't ever want to go that dark either. But you need someone like him that could be a snarky smartass who's a killer. And I think, especially once again, the beauty of Nightmare on Elm Street was the practical stuff, even with the dreams. Today's technology, the way they shoot shit. I mean, could you imagine? Granted, he'll never do it, but could you imagine them doing like the Inception hallway scene with Freddy? Like the way things are shot can be shot now with Freddy's Dreamscape. There's so much endlessly cool things if you're going to give it the time and not be lazy to just get the movie out. There's so many different versions. There's so many directors in my head that'd be like, dude, if they did a Nightmare on Elm Street movie, that would be insane. Oh God, one person that just popped off the top of my head, and I know you'd sign on for it right away, is the dude who just did Jurassic World.
Jurassic World?
And the creator, and
I just blanked out on the name. Just that. Oh my God.
Yeah, I blanked out too. I was like, but
oh my gosh! And you know how much I love the creator. Oh
I know. God. I know.
Oh, it's Gareth
Edwards. How he likes to build his worlds. Could you imagine him building Freddy's Dreamscape? Or even like an Alex Garland. Like, I can see all these granted, you'd have to get them.
Here's what I'll say I don't want. What I don't want for any of these fans, whether Friday the 13th, whether it be Nightmare on Elm Street, whatever, I do not want to see them do the elevated horror A24 neon version of these things. I want them to keep it just the cheese, not necessarily cheesy, but I don't want to see artsy. I want to see just a straightforward horror movie.
So you just want straightforward horror, so you don't want Freddy funny?
No, I do. I just meant don't try to make it like elevated, like indie horror, like that whole A24 kind of idea to it. Because when you said Alex Garland, I kind of think that Alex Garland would he'd make you, I don't know, artsy.
Because I mean, it's weird. It's weird to think right now that we live in a world where there is no Chucky, there's no Michael, there's no Freddy, there's no Jason. literally the two biggest horror icons right now that are active is Art, who's still brand fucking new. You say that he's about to have his 4th film, but he's still so new. And technically Ghostface. Who's the other iconic horror person right now that's active that you can think, like, based off of these franchises? That's it. Because you can't say Dracula or Frankenstein, because that's just a concept and they're always around. There's not like a definitive Dracula. There's no definitive Wolfman or anything like that. So it's literally Art the Clown and Ghostface. Everyone else is retired technically in a way, and I can be okay with no Jason. I can be okay with no Michael. I don't know if I could be okay with no more Freddy Krueger. And I have to say, Reanimate it. I think there are too many good directors out there now that will do horror that could do so much with a concept for Freddy. And if you find the right guy, maybe not a name, someone like Art the Clown, where he's not a big name actor, but this is something that he is kind of like with Robert Englund. This person is perfect for him, but you don't have to worry about him like getting so big that he wants to go do other things.
Oh yeah, it's definitely the kind of thing where you want a good character actor. Like Robert Englund was nobody when he took on the role. He'd been in like V, the miniseries, and he'd had supporting roles in like some TV shows and things, but he's basically had not done much before then, and that's kind of became his thing. And then Jackie Earle Haley, again, he's a name, but he was never like a star. He was like an actor you'd seen pop up in some movies.
No, he had just got with Rorschach, so he was in the limelight.
Yeah, so you recognize his name, but he wasn't like a big name star that was going to take up.
But yeah,
but other than that, I can't think of any current horror icons. I mean, I was trying to think of. I wouldn't. I don't know if I want a whole franchise of it, but I could see Heart Eyes continuing as a franchise. I'm just trying to think of other like masked killers and things like that. But there's a lot of the movies nowadays, horror movies, they aren't even making these kind of slashers anymore. So you don't really have the Jasons and the Freddys and things like that.
No,
what you're getting now is so much supernatural and ghost stories and
the next outside of Art and Ghostface, I would probably say the next iconic horror killer monster, whatever, is probably the Smile Monster.
Ugh.
I know that is my point. I mean, it has to be. I think that's the next one technically.
Well, if you can, it's if you consider it dead or not. As far as, I mean, it was still active as a couple of years ago. I think the next most recognizable one is Jigsaw. But that one we think is done too. But we think that one's done too. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I feel like Nightmare has to come back in some way. You have to have people be afraid to fall asleep again. And
I wouldn't mind seeing it try. I just think that if they try one more time and it fails the way that last one did, I think it's done.
I can see that. Same thing with Jason and Friday the 13th. Give them one more go, like Michael did. Like, because that's the thing. If you go back to the 2000s, and you're looking at Michael, Freddy, and Jason, it was always Freddy, Jason, Michael. It was 1, 2, 3. Michael was always third. Freddy and Jason was always number 1, number 2. And then you had Freddy versus Jason fight each other, and it's like, okay, this is fun. And then they had their remakes, and it fell apart. And then it's like no one wanted to touch them again. Now, you said obviously a lot of licensing issues came there. And yet, who's the one that came out of it as the bigger star is Michael. Michael got, fucking 5 movies because of the Rob Zombie. Michael got 5 fucking movies after that. And it's like, no. How is Michael Myers more popular than Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees? It doesn't make sense. So I can't live with the mindset that the last movies of the horror icons is Halloween. and not Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street. If you're gonna kill off the OG 3, you gotta give Jason and Freddy one more shot. If they don't work after that, then they don't fucking work. And then we're in the new era with Art and whoever at that point. But you gotta give Freddy and Jason at least one more go. You have to. Yeah.
The only thing I've taken out of this whole show is I want to see Freddy versus Art. I love that pitch.
Freddy versus Art is amazing, and I am 100% there for it. Like literally, as we were talking the whole time, I was like, I gotta find a way to pitch this at the right time, and I found it.
But the only problem is it would have to be done probably with whoever this new Freddy is. But what we really want to see is the Robert
Englund and Art.
But I'm not sure it's going to work anymore. So
because at least with Freddy versus Jason, Robert Englund had to act around basically a statue because Jason doesn't interact really with him at all. At least with Art will be like, all this kind of stuff. So I mean, he won't speak, but at least he'll be animated towards Freddy. But yeah, that's just like I said, that's easily a $300 million idea right there. And I don't care if someone hears this and goes, yeah, we're going to do that. Would I love a portion of the profit? Absolutely. But I just want to see it. But what are your guys' thoughts? We went through, like I said, probably about 30-ish franchises. I know that'd be really long comments from you guys to tell me what your each thoughts were on all of them. But let us know in the comments below, what franchises do you feel that are currently not active, like the Nightmare on Elm Street and the Friday the 13th, stuff like that? Do you guys want to see reanimated, brought back, redone, or like Gremlins, not redone, but just bring it back, keep the continuation of the story going, and just come back with a new Gremlins movie in the same world? Or what franchises are you guys currently seeing that you just say, just kill it, don't bring them back anymore, we don't want to see them anymore? Let us know in the comments below. We hope you guys enjoyed this Halloween special. If you guys did, hit that like, share, and subscribe button to the channel so you guys stay up to date with all the latest videos pop up on the Movie Crusaders. Of course, you're going to follow us on all the social media outlets you see below. Like I said, with my new job, Brian and I are trying to get together to discuss all the stuff that's going on. Don't know when the next episode is going to be. Obviously, we are heading into November, so we have a lot more bigger name movies that are going to be coming out. If there are anything that is worth me and Brian hopping on and talking about, we definitely will. But of course, by the end of the year, we'll be getting on for the end of the year stuff, for your top films of the year, worst films of the year, surprise, disappointed, and then of course we'll have the Movie Crusaders Award show in 2027 or 2026. So like I say, we'll get on as much as we can. Like I said in our socials, if you aren't seeing us on here, follow us on Letterboxd. We do see movies continually. We do write our own little personal reviews for them. You can follow us on that. If you guys go to the information things down below on YouTube here, you'll see our profiles for that. You guys can follow us and comment on our written reviews on there and all that kind of stuff. It's just getting harder to get together right now and shoot these videos and edit and all that kind of stuff. But we're gonna get on as much as we can to do this. But we hope you guys enjoy this. We hope you guys have an awesome Halloween and watch horror films, have fun with them, and spread the word. Art versus Freddy Krueger. Make it. Let's get this thing going. But we are the Movie Crusaders. I'm Sean Wasserkrug. That is Brian Michaels. And until next time, in case we don't see you, go watch some movies and go have some fun and have a happy Halloween.